let's make some chocolate cake. Sorry. We're gonna make cake and it's gonna be yummy. Hey la, the chocolate cake. Okay, what you've done in advance before you've done anything is you have preheated the oven and you have taken 2 8-inch pans and buttered them, lined the bottom with pre-cut rounds, just buy them on Amazon, and then buttered the round. Always do that in advance. You've taken some cocoa powder. The recipe is on Epicurious. It's called Cocoa Layer Cake for amounts. You've melted it in a little water, and you have some buttermilk also mixed with water. Combine the sugar and the butter. You're using 1 stick of butter, which is half of a plus gras. I like plus gras for baking. It holds together well, and it's the name is funny because it means more fat in French. You're gonna put this into your mixer like that. A cup of sugar. And you're gonna combine it. Now I'm just gonna tell you something about baking. What you think is combined is not combined. All right, so you wanna go way beyond what you've ever thought of as combined. Okay, now, I'm gonna tell you. So there are some people who would consider that combined, and in fact, I did until I figured this out. Combined means combined, not mixed together. So keep going until it is a very light colored, smooth paste. 3 to 5 minutes, which is what a lot of people don't know. You've beaten this for about 5 minutes. It still appears slightly granular, but it's much more incorporated with itself. Now, with the mixer on low, I'm going to incorporate 2 eggs that I've beaten together at room temperature. Gradually add this. So I'm waiting for this to be pale and fluffy. Like some boys I know. Occasionally stop your mixer and sort of scrape down the sides. You know, the KitchenAid is an amazing machine. It still has flaws. You still have to do this. Unless you get those new whisks that have this blade thing on the side. Makes an excellent birthday gift. Now, just so you know what I'm talking about, that's pale and fluffy, okay? All right, that's what you want. While it's pale and fluffy, you're gonna add vanilla. I always add more than they tell you, and I use vanilla paste, which is an amazing thing. And I usually put in a tablespoon. This has, you can see it on the side here, it has the little beans of the vanilla bean, the little flecks. You can't see that in the chocolate cake, but it still makes much better vanilla flavor. You can get it at the amazing King Arthur flour. Get good quality cocoa powder in warm water. Follow the recipe on Epicurious. I'm actually going to stop that and I'm going to pour that in. Slowly incorporate that. Y'all can write in and tell me how you don't do it this way, but this is the right way. And we're going to add the flour, which is flour, baking soda, and salt, and we're gonna alternate with buttermilk. Anybody can do this. It's not scary. Okay, we're gonna turn this way down because it's gonna make a mess. All right, you're gonna add about 1/3 of that, and then you're gonna add about 1/3 of your buttermilk and water mixture. 1/3 more of this. And don't be afraid to bake, you can do it. It's not that hard, guys. And also, apps like Epicurious, Bon Appetit magazine, Saveur magazine, Food and Wine is really coming up. Just read them in the bath. You'll become a better cook. Okay, this is my final third. It was a little more than 1/3. Okay, I'm gonna add the end of the buttermilk. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe down the sides. We're almost done. So I don't know how much time you had to drink wine there, but hopefully you were watching The People's Couch, which is the greatest show on television. See how it looks almost like meringue, like it's so fluffy? I tell you who's gonna enjoy this cake. Lynn, Regina, Hightow, and Nick. Take your pre-prepared pants. Un, deux, 1, 2. Look at that. Pour it. I use counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 4 in each. 5. 5. Don't worry about smoothing it. Sorry about the banging. You're also getting big air bubbles out, which is good. So then you take your 2 cakes like this, you walk over to the oven and you say, "Open Linsanity." And it magically opens. And you place them both in the center. It's preheated oven. Close it up. And you're gonna cook them until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. It's about 35, 40 minutes, I think, but I'm gonna do it by eye. So you may have noticed we made 2 cakes. Now here's the deal. You can serve a single cake simply sprinkled with confectioner's sugar, or you can serve a layer cake. I'm just gonna remind you, grown-ups don't really like to eat a huge iced cake at the end of dinner. It's too sweet. So what I usually do if I wanna do a center filling is I take a container of mascarpone, dump it into a bowl, and we did this for another episode, I believe. Sweeten it with baker's sugar, or it's called castor sugar. We talked about that. Give it a little sweetener there. Mix it in. You don't use confectioner's sugar because it clumps up. A little bit of vanilla. It can just be vanilla extract. Oops. And this you're going to sort of spread in between the 2 cakes, and then you're going to sprinkle confectioners on the top. If you want to be super naughty, and maybe there's a kid coming and you want to kind of split the difference between icing and not icing, is you can put chocolate chips in this, okay? It really has to be at room temperature before you attempt any decoration, even just the powdered sugar if you're doing the single layer. If it's warm, everything's going to melt, so just don't do that. Wait until it's cool to room temperature, okay? Pick up one of these chocolate cakes that we made and set it on the cake stand. And you can go nuts on Etsy buying cake stands, it's fun. Take some mascarpone, which is essentially sweet sour cream. Recommendation, get the edges, because the edges are what make the slice look good. Now, Regina, who does, as I told you, our still photography, does not agree that you should put a cake in the refrigerator for some bizarre reason.
No one likes cold cake.
No one likes cold cake. I think it makes the cake setup nicer, but she might be right. I just think this is better than the whole chocolate icing thing, and it's not because I hate making icing, but I do hate making icing. Then I'm gonna pick up the other cake, gently, because it's very tender and lovely. It's like a young wee lass. And I'm gonna just press it down like that. It's country style, which means it's a little bit messy. You wanna make sure that your presentation plate is clean. That means crumb-free and splodge-free. I'm going to sprinkle some confectioner's sugar on top of it. One time, Linny made a laser cut letter for my niece, and then I sprinkled this on it, and we peeled the letter back, and it had an E, because her name is Elizabeth. It was very cool. But anyway, just sprinkle this on like this, and you know, suddenly you have a proper dessert. Make a clean wipe, and you have a beautiful cake. Now, this can be assembled a couple hours before you're gonna serve it, but remember, the mascarpone will loosen, so keep it in a cool place, or the fridge. And also the confectioner's sugar eventually will soak in, so it can't be 5 hours, but it can certainly be an hour and a half or 2 hours before. Cake. Why not bake a cake? It's very tender and lovely. It's like a young wee lass.